All right. My problem with you is that you say these things to many people that just isn't right.
Okay,
And it seems
okay. Sorry, go ahead.
right. And it means many people support you and validates you what you have said. And the fact that you started out with the no BS is fat in your debate
Mm-hmm.
shows me what kind of person you are, and I just think that was really fucking uncalled for. And I really wanted to have a chance with debating with you. So you want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah, we can start for like what are the things I say that you think I'm wrong about or whatever?
All right. Well, I want to start with the Black Lives Matter movement.
Yeah.
Like on Twitter, we had had like this little clash. So So I just want to tell you what I know.
Okay.
This movement doesn't have a leader. That's the problem of the movement.
Well, I mean, a lot of movements don't have like leaders, right? Gamergate or any other like that kind of movement doesn't have a leader either, right?
People have these like social gatherings from a host, so the host will end up with violent people.
Okay, but for Black Lives Matter, there's been literally thousands of these marches. Like very, very, very few of them
True.
actually are violent. Like very, very, very few. Like all of them have been on the news. You've heard about them.
Okay, sure. But if Black Lives Matter want nothing to do with the racism, they need to control other people in the protest.
How can you possibly control every single person at every single protest? Do you think that's very realistic to ask of anybody?
Well, let's say that, in these riots, you have everyone going, destroying property. So there can definitely be a control on who you bring into the protest.
How do you think people that do like these gatherings have the ability to background check like every single person that shows up?
I don't think it needs to be a background check. I'm just saying, like,
how do you check if someone is going to be violent or not?
You got a point there, but I'm saying that people invite these other people as a community, right?
Okay, but how do you know that somebody's not going to hear about it? You think that every single person that shows up at these rallies is like invited by a friend?
I don't think one person is going to make everyone else go berserk.
Okay, but not everybody is going berserk. Do you think that any of these violence, every single person has been like blowing shit up? Like that would be like a massive like explosion of activity. And again, like we're only talking about a very small handful of BLM riots, like very, very, very small handful. Like there have been, I think there's a website that's listed like all of them. There are like thousands and thousands of these Black Lives Matters like gatherings and shit. Like very, very few of them are violent. So it seems strange to call the entire movement violent because just a couple have.
Okay, I understand your point. Maybe not the majority. I don't really have a source on that. That's where you got me in Twitter. But
well, I'm not trying to get you. I mean, this is like an important distinction.
Right. Okay. Well, if they didn't want to have anything to do with racism, I would have dropped the movement then.
So any single time one person does something wrong, you have to quit your whole movement? Does that mean you're equally mad at Gamergaters for not abandoning their movement when some people make threats of doxing and whatnot?
No. I'm saying that once they start the violence and the racism, because even the co-founder even had used violence and racism in this movement, that's when I think the movement should be on the coat hanger.
So do you think that every single person should have abandoned Gamergate as soon as some people were like doxing people or whatever? You realize that you could effectively shut down every movement ever by like having a couple people join it and then being violent that way, right? That would be like the easiest way to kill every single movement you disagree with?
No, that's not what I mean. I'm saying when these people are bringing the violence into their movement that they started, I think everyone should...
Okay, hold on. You're using a lot of like kind of like weasel words. These people. So what you're talking about are very few people at very few movements have had very little violence. It's happened, but it's not it's not the majority. It's not even a lot. It's a very, very, very small number of them.
No, it is a lot, actually.
It is a lot?
Yes.
So how many BLM... How many?
Look,
I'm sorry. How many BLM like violent shit things have happened? There haven't been that many.
Well, there's been Baltimore in 2015.
Okay, that was one.
There's been the Dallas shooting.
That's two.
I don't really have a big list, but this definitely does go on.
Okay, but there have been thousands of BLM gatherings that haven't been violent.
And how many have the protests been riots on the news?
Usually when there's like violence associated with BLM or any kind of like racial march, it usually makes the news pretty easily.
All right, well, okay, but I'm gonna say that there's a lot of people that are violent because even the co-founder has used violence.
I don't know what co-founder of BLM means. I don't even know if it matters. Like
the co-founder. All right, okay.
It's not like a central movement where everybody like has like a leader, and they all kind of like gather around him every movement. There's not like a march.
Okay, but there's a website saying that this community wants to get rid of racism.
Okay.
And stop police brutality.
Okay.
Right?
Is that bad?
But no, I agree with that. But when the co-founder starts going, saying stuff like she wants to cuss out men and kill white people, that's where I have a problem. They're turning the movement into something violent.
Okay, but she doesn't control the movement and everybody in it.
Okay, but I'm saying that she made this website, right?
Okay, but there's not like the Black Lives Matter website where you register to join like Black Lives Matter. That's not how that works.
Yeah, I know. But they describe the movement as something nice when it's not.
What do you mean? But I just told you that there have been hundreds and hundreds of BLM gatherings that have had no violence whatsoever. Why is it that just a handful make the whole movement violent?
Okay, so can you name all the protests that weren't violent?
Yeah, sure. Hold on. Oh, shit. There was a website that actually lists all of the Black Lives Matter like gatherings where you can go and you can see them all. Fuck, does anybody have a list of these? I just had it up on my other monitor like a couple days ago. Does anybody have a link? Oh shit, hold on. Don't click it in chat, you guys will kill the fucking... Okay, so in the past 3 or 4 years, there's been 2,040 Black Lives Matter protests. All right, you can click a list and see every single one here. And if you want, you can look them up to see if there's been any violent activity or whatever. And for 99% of these, there hasn't been. So like I'm willing to bet, and I don't actually know this because I don't know what's in your head, but it sounds like you think there have only been like 4 Black Lives Matter things.
No, I don't think that. I know there's been a lot of protests.
Okay. I'm suiciding in here, Mr.
So how can you tell whether these were violent or not?
I mean, you can just look them up if you want and try to search them out and see if you find any news articles about them or whatever. And I'm guessing for the overwhelming majority, there's nothing violent is going to come up because BLM violence is a pretty hot topic. It gets reported on.
That's my cat in the background.
So do you think that it would be fair for me to say that everybody in Gamergate supports violence because some people were like calling in bomb threats and shit, or no?
All right, so like individually, no, but if majority of them are being violent, then I think it probably should end.
Okay, if the majority of Black Lives Matter people were violent, I think that we would be hearing about thousands
would you say that these kind of events would cause the movement have a bad name?
I mean, it depends on with who. I mean,
I'll be scared if I heard Black Lives Matter was protesting in my city.
Yeah, but that's because you've only heard of like 3 different protests, and you think that all of them are violent, but there have been thousands of them, and most of them are okay.
All right, I wish I knew where all these riots were from, but there's many riots they had that caused property damage.
Okay, if you hear about a right-leaning protest, are you worried because of what happened in Charlottesville? Do you think people are going to be running over people with cars and shit?
Say that one more time?
Are you worried if there are any right-leaning people that protest in your city? Because in the Charlottesville riot, somebody got ran over with a car? Why do you give so much leeway to people protesting on your side, but like you see a couple violent people protesting on the BLM side, and now you think the whole movement is bad?
Okay, because people started putting racism and violence into it. That's what I'm saying. They're making this description change from being a movement that was supposed to
okay, but clearly they're not, because there have been thousands of these protests that haven't been violent or racist. So I mean,
okay, but many of these have been on the news causing these kind of damage.
I mean, wait, what? Could you say that again?
Yes. I said many of these have been on the news.
Many of these 2,040 protests have been on the news?
Yes.
Okay.
I can take a handful and then explain to you that there hasn't been many riots. So that's why I don't really agree with Black Lives Matter riots.
Okay, so then you don't agree with Gamergate then. Can you just say that? Since so many people in Gamergate were like doxing people and making violent threats and shit?
I don't really know what Gator Game is or what was that.
Okay, what movements do you think are good? And I can probably find violence that's happened as a result of that movement.
Movements I think are good. Probably Gay Pride. That's a good movement.
Okay, what about like, are you like a Trump fan?
Yeah, not really.
What does not really mean?
I don't really like him. I don't agree with everything he does.
Okay. So if I could find you any marches, if I could find you any gay pride events that had some violent activity at them, you would say that all gay pride movements are bad then?
Well, it depends. Were the gay pride attacked?
Well, the gay people maybe acted violent or whatever.
Sure.
Okay, hold on.
I just wanted to explain. So I actually did have seen many clips of these kind of riots, and they resulted very bad.
Pediatric Association listed.
So since you're looking for that, I have a question for you.
Wait, hold on. Here's the link. So these were the Stonewall Riots, also referred to as the Stonewall Uprising or the Stonewall Rebellion. They were a series of spontaneous, violent demonstrations by members of the gay LGBT community against a police raid that took place. Okay. So, damn, it sounds like gay pride things are actually really violent. So all of these are bad because they're violent, right?
Okay, but look at the year.
Oh, so how many years have to pass for it to not matter anymore? Or how recent does it have to be for you to not?
Because people started to understand that love is okay. People back then were many people back then were Christian. And then they're saying that gay people, they can't have sex with the same gender. They need to marry the opposite gender. So they actually had a reason to
maybe. Okay, well let's I think maybe we should move on to the next part.
Okay.
Okay, what's the next thing you wanted to talk about?
Well, I'm going to talk about when the Black Lives Matter was founded.
Okay.
By 3 people. So Alyssa, Patrice, and Opal. The movement idea came from the hashtag Black Lives Matter after police shot a teenage American boy named Trayvon Martin.
Okay.
All right. So maybe not majority. There's not really a source on that. But I went by what I saw. And many people have used violence and used racial slurs in the protest. Even the co-founder had used racism in the movement that was supposed to rid racism. She threatened men and white people in the tweet. She wants violence to happen to white people. Now, I got a little few quotes I would like to share that had some riots where they had used these kind of quotes.
Okay,
unquote,
like there might have been some, but that doesn't mean that every single person associated with the movement or the entire movement is then like a racist bad thing.
okay, that's your opinion, but
Well, I mean, I think that's a fairly rational ground that I can defend pretty easily, and I don't think it's a rational ground that you agree with in every circumstance.
But
also, yeah, Trayvon Martin wasn't killed by the police unless Zimmerman was a police officer. So, I mean...
No, Trayvon was shot by police. That's why the police brutality's there.
Oh.
Sorry. They have chanted violent cheering such as, "What do we want? Dead cops. When do we want them? Now." So usually in these protests, they're always wanted violence to cops.
When you say usually in these protests, are you saying that most BLM protests have these chants? You've watched thousands of videos, or you've seen like tons of reports saying that, or have you just seen a couple videos?
I don't have thousands of videos, but I know this is what they fucking say.
You know, oh, you just know. You just happen to know it? Are you
I know.
Clairvoyant?
Because this is a typical thing in Black Lives Matter, is cops.
Well, I mean, you think it is, so... But yeah, one of the recurring themes of Black Lives Matter is that black people are treated unfairly by cops. That's a thing. Wanting cops dead, I think, is it's a little bit of a stretch. But I'm just supposed to believe it without anything else. I haven't seen that from hundreds of different... I mean, I've seen like those things before, sure, but not...
Go on YouTube and look it up.
I mean, I could find some, sure, but I mean, I could find bad...
You can find a lot.
Are they most of them from the same like 2 or 3 riots, or is it going to be hundreds of different BLM movements?
I honestly can't tell you how many movements.
Well, it seems like that would kind of be like an important part of your argument, though, no? Because if it was only from 4 or 5 out of thousands, it's not really that bad.
Well, where do you get these 4 or 5 numbers from?
Because I know that there have been a few violent...
Oh, so wait. So you're saying that you know after you just asked me if I know?
Well, yeah, you know too. You know that there have been like 3 or 4, the really big ones in Baltimore and whatever, and not Charlottesville, that's the KKK thing, but like in Baltimore and what was the other big... There was the other big one, the big riot one. We watched the fucking stream of it. I don't remember where it was at. But yeah, like I know there have been like 3 or 4 big ones. You know that as well. But you're telling me, you're going farther, and you're saying that in hundreds of these riots, there's violence. I haven't seen violence in hundreds of different movements. Sounds like we've seen similar stuff. But for some reason, you seem to extrapolate it to every single... Oh, Dallas, yeah. You seem to extrapolate it to every single BLM thing.
Can we please stop abusing this teenager?
It's not about individualism. Okay? The fact of the matter is that these were advertised as a bad movement because of
by you.
By media.
Well, I don't think the media says BLM is bad. The mainstream media is usually pretty left leaning. I don't think CNN or MSNBC are saying BLM is bad.
No, but they're showing these riots, okay?
Yeah, when they happen,
that show that Black Lives Matter is a movement for violence and racism.
When was the last time the media had something about BLM even on TV? I don't remember seeing anything about Black Lives Matter.
It's been a long while because we had like this Donald Trump shit going on.
So there's no time to put a BLM riot on the screen? Trump has been doing stuff 24/7 for the past like 12 months?
I don't know when the last time they had Black Lives Matter.
I know, it's been a long time, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been...
It's been so long you don't even remember.
Actually, I don't know if there's been a recent...
you would have known, though. You would have heard about it. Or your buddy Blair would have made a video on it, or any other of the number of people you watch on YouTube would have made a video about it. No, because
we don't make thousands of videos of Black Lives Matter. We don't, rant on Facebook every 5 minutes of Black Lives Matter.
Okay.
We go on and tell that there's been these many violent protests and Black Lives Matter.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty confident that there aren't as many as you think because it hasn't happened in like the past 12 months. I haven't heard anything on the news or seen a big story about anything like this. So I'm pretty confident.
All right. But there's been this controversy that Black Lives Matter is violence, and it's been portrayed as a violent movement.
No, there hasn't been.
Yes, there has been.
Doesn't seem like it over the past 12 months. I don't remember seeing anything.
What happened in the 12 months?
I don't know. I haven't seen shit about BLM in a long time. I almost thought they were dead.
Okay. Well,
have you? Can you think of any big riots or anything that's happened in the past?
No. I don't go watching the news for Black Lives Matter.
Okay, so it seems like neither of us have heard about BLM doing anything bad over the past year. Right. So it sounds like they've been pretty inactive, but apparently not, because we can find that they've still organized hundreds of marches and protests. So wouldn't that lead you to think that maybe they're not really that violent then?
All right, hold on your statement right there. I'm gonna look on the very, very last one.
Okay.
So it seems that September 3rd, 2017. September. I guess that was
okay.
That was at a rally at State Paul Park.
Mm-hmm.
March on to Minnesota State Fair.
Okay.
And I'm gonna look up in this article. So that was the recent one.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems that there was many people going into the car. So, and here's another point I have about Black Lives Matter is that they're very disrupted with their protests.
Sure.
They block people in roads that are just trying to go to work, have a meal, have a good day. But these people want to be very unpeaceful with their protest.
Yeah. So this is part of protesting, right? Is that you don't want people to just go on with their life. You could argue whether this is valid or invalid, but that's part of what you want to do with a protest. You don't want people to just go on with their lives and ignore you.
Actually, when they're in the middle of the road, blocking roads, people trying to get to work, that's very illegal.
Yeah, sure. It sounds like police closed down that one road, but I mean, this is far from violence.
No, there's cars going in that road.
Well, in the article, it said that the police shut down the road. So
yeah, they probably had to.
Yeah, that's what it says in the article. They had to shut down the road. So I mean, yeah, you could. This is probably a shitty thing. I mean, you could argue that. I'd be annoyed if I saw it, but this is a far cry from violence, right? We've moved the goalpost quite a bit down the field now. If we're at.
Okay, but I kind of moved on from the violence argument.
Oh, well, but if your initial argument was that a lot of Black Lives Matter protests are disruptive, maybe I would agree with that. I don't know. That sounds a lot more plausible than violent, because I doubt I would hear on the news every time somebody blocked a road, but I could probably buy that more. But that's way different than most of them are violent, right?
All right, I agree on that, yes. So, the fact... Okay, since we're past the violence, I want to talk about the controversy on incest. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, sure.
All right, so in that no debate with no bullshit.
Yeah.
Sorry, no bullshit.
Yeah.
You have said incest isn't wrong, and you then denied that you didn't say that.
No, I said that I was going to argue for that position because I didn't think no bullshit was capable of mounting an effective argument against it. I never really stated whether or not I personally believed it was right or wrong.
Well, I have you saying on record that you are pro-incest because he asked you, are you pro-incest? And you said, sure.
No, I don't think I said that ever.
Well, I have it on my channel when I...
Do you know the timestamp on your video? I'd be interested to hear it.
Sure.
Yeah, can you just throw that to me? I'm just curious. I want to hear the context of that.
Here, I'll go to it right now so I can tell you what timestamp is. All right, he actually said, are you speaking on behalf of pro-incest? And you said, sure.
Yeah, I'm speaking on behalf of pro-incest. Yeah, that was the point of that argument. I was speaking on behalf of it, sure. But I don't think I ever said that, I sincerely believe that incest is good or whatever. I don't think that was part of it.
All right, maybe not. But you are speaking on behalf of pro-incest.
Yeah, I was providing arguments for it. Yeah, sure.
Okay. And on the end of my video, you had said that you don't disagree with all incest, but some are okay.
Well, no, I was trying to find cases where he would agree with it. That's what he was running into that
Well,
problem where there were some cases of incest that were okay by his argumentation.
Okay, so I actually have an argument to add to that.
Okay.
All right, so you have said incest is somewhat okay, right?
Well, I don't think I said that. I think I said there were some scenarios where it seems like it could be okay.
Okay. All right.
I'm sorry, the distinction there is very important. There's a big difference between all incest is okay versus there are some instances of incest being okay.
Well, you mean like some scenarios are okay?
Yeah, the thing was that some scenarios of incest were okay.
Okay, but why?
He can see
Just
me
hold
through-
on, he's playing a
This is so stupid. I hit him like 12 times. Okay. I'm sorry. No, wait, what? What are you even saying?
I'm saying, like, what are these scenarios that you think are okay?
It seemed like same-sex, equal age twin incest was okay.
Okay.
Don't
So,
understand this word. Go ahead.
So when I was arguing with one of your fan on Twitter,
Okay.
she said not about like the lawful area, but morality. That's what you were debating about, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So well, actually, our morality comes from religion, way back then, and then
Not all
many-
morality comes from religion. No, that's
true, but a lot of cases where our morality thought from religion was part of incest isn't okay.
We weren't arguing the morality based on religion, though.
No, I'm saying I'm trying to like tell you why it's still legal today.
Okay, we're not arguing
And
the
that-
legality, though. We already distinguished this. We're arguing the morality or the ethics, not.
Yeah,
the
but
law.
okay. But the law came from the morality.
Okay, but we're not arguing the law. We're just arguing morally what should be okay or not. Okay.
All right, so incest is wrong because our moralities.
Okay.
We have
Why?
religion.
You have to justify that, though.
Because from the religion.
Okay, but
we
what if
had
you're
in the
not
country.
religious?
Way back then, you kind of had to be religious.
We're not way back then. We're
Do
now.
you not remember Salem witch trials?
I remember Sailor Moon. Is that like the same thing?
Salem witch trials.
Oh, because she was a witch. And never mind. I know what you're talking about. I'm jumping.
Okay.
So, okay, but we're not way back then. We're now. Our morals have changed.
I know. I'm gonna get to that.
Okay. Well, we should get to that because just making an
just hear
argument
me on
about
out.
what our morals were in the 1700s aren't really relevant to know.
All right, just hear me on out.
Okay.
Since we haven't been a religious country for so many years, people were fucking like left to right who were related. Then we had mutant-looking babies running around.
I don't think this ever happened. I don't think there was.
Actually, yeah.
No, I don't-
actually, yeah.
No, there was no time period in American history where we had mutant babies running around because incest was so rampant. This never happened.
Back that up.
Back that up. How can I back up a negative? You would have to give me the positive.
All right, because these children had deformities that made them look like they were mutant babies.
Which children?
The children from, let's say, like, maybe mid-age, late 1700s.
In the early 1700s? In America?
No, mid or late 1700s.
In America?
Yes, in America.
We just got here. We didn't even have time
Dropping
to
in the
have
hallway.
it. We didn't even have time to have incest babies. What'd you drop?
Well, the
Right there.
first law was on 1803
Okay.
on incest. Okay.
Okay. Do you think that law was inspired
Gun.
by mutant babies?
Yeah, because actually, incest causes deformities in your child.
First
your offspring.
generation doesn't typically know, but still, why do you think this law was caused by mutant babies?
Because these babies were having miserable lives.
Okay, do you have any...
Does that make sense?
I'm not trying to fastball you here, but I've never heard of this in my entire life, and I'm really bad at history. I admit that, but I never heard that there was a time period in the early 1700s when we were a British colony where there were mutant incest babies running around. This is something I have never heard before. Is there like a story of anything, or like a tale, like something that you could reference, like that I would know about, or that anybody else would have heard about, or?
All right, I'm gonna see if I can find you a story.
Because like I've heard of the Salem witch trials, where people were tried because of religious reasons, and people thought there were
right.
What?
Behind.
It's really hard to quickly find.
Yeah, that's okay. Well,
What
I mean,
the
it
fuck
seems
is
like it
this
should be
guy
pretty
talking
easy.
About? Bible condoned incest and slavery.
There's another guy to the right behind the building.
Okay. I'm gonna move up.
Oh shit, there's another guy like way back here. That other guy's pushing. From over there. I want to get in anyhow.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I feel like
Anyone-
looking up stories of like mutant babies, I feel like that should be pretty easy to find, no? Like, sounds pretty sensational.
All right, how about I search it differently?
How can incest be wrong religiously? What about like Cain and Abel? Wasn't the only way they were able to have babies was through incest?
Cain and what?
Like back in the early days of the Bible, wouldn't they have had to have had incest? Like how? Would they not? Because there were so few people. Oh, I made a
That
mistake.
is
So how did they have
Adam and
babies?
Eve, yeah. But Adam and Eve
Adam and
Yeah.
Eve are what?
aren't exactly related. They were just created. But
What about their
yeah,
children though?
I
Shouldn't
can- yeah, exactly. That's
maybe maybe we're all mutant
No.
babies?
God, let him be okay?
which is
So have you heard anything about mutant babies or?
all right. I'm looking, but I'm just seeing like recent articles about incest.
I don't think this happened, my dude. Where did you hear about this at?
I read an article about it.
Do you remember what the article was
it's
about?
there,
or
but it's
where you read it? Or what it was from? Sounds like the article might have been made up, my dude.
Fake news.
I don't think so.
Okay, I think we should just move on to the morality argument.
All right, so I'm gonna go with what I read. So in that morality, they banned because of these deformities in children.
Yeah, but keep in mind that if you have gay incestual twins, though, or if you use birth control, that this won't happen.
Right. I'm trying to get to that why it's illegal still.
Okay.
So to attack the source, we had laws on incest, which is a family law. And then the reason why we still have these laws to this date is because of marriage. People can't pass their family name, and irresponsibilities with their right. So let's say we made incest legal, right? You think everyone's going to be responsible, and then people aren't going to be responsible and not use condom, and then she gets pregnant.
Okay,
Let's
what
say
about
that.
just gay? We'll say just gay people then. Actually, you know what? No, this argument even doesn't work. So do you agree with eugenics?
Eugenics?
Yeah.
What's that?
So you think that incestual people shouldn't be allowed to have children, right? Because they could have children with diseases and whatnot. They'd be fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that anybody that could give birth to offspring with diseases like Parkinson's or any other type of degenerative disease or something, or Huntington's or whatever, do you think these people shouldn't be allowed to have children as well?
If it causes deformities, yeah.
Okay, so that would apply to straight people as well, right? That's a pretty radical thing. So you think that we should practice a form of eugenics in the United States where we don't allow some people to reproduce because they can give birth to offspring that might have diseases?
I mean, I don't think you can really enforce that.
Yeah, you could pretty easily. You would just force sterilization on them. If you were born with any kind of disease that has like strong genetic markers, you would just sterilize those people.
Okay, but that's not really the debate on what I'm trying to accomplish.
Okay, but you're saying that one of the reasons why incest should be wrong is because some of the children could be genetically deformed. But you're okay
Right.
with non-incestual people having genetically deformed children?
I mean, you can't really help that. That happens once in a while. I actually don't know the science behind why that happens.
I mean, how can you stop incest relationships that just happen inside the home?
When they're caught, they go to jail for for about 14 years.
Okay, and if somebody
So
gets
it'd be
caught
pretty
having a
stupid
child
to
with a
do
genetic
it.
disease, you abort the child, and then you send them to jail for years. No, you're going to enforce it the same way.
Listen, I don't think that your analogy to that and incest are the same because
Tell me why.
What would you think the statistics are in eugenics?
Statistics in
And,
eugenics? I don't think that's a complete
yes.
sentence. What do you mean?
Like deformities.
There are some diseases that are absolutely passed on genetically with a high degree of certainty.
50-50 sometimes.
Yeah.
There's a very, very, very high degree of probability. So,
But these deformities I'm talking about are through
Common
incest, and they are very easily done when they're born.
okay, and there's the same thing happened with non-incestual people, depending on the disease. So.
Well, what I'm saying is that the deformities I'm talking about may be different than what you're talking about.
Mine are much worse. If you're talking about like neurodegenerative things that are like early onset, these are going to be way worse than anything you'll get being a fucking incest baby. These are absolutely horrible. People kill themselves because when these diseases. I know that like Huntington's people can legitimately kill themselves. And even things like I don't know if Crohn's disease has like strong genetic backings. Do you know, Mr. Moten? Because then like Crohn's,
I have no idea.
like these are diseases that make your life like a living fucking hell. Down
Right.
syndrome, I think there might be genetic markers as well. Or if you've advanced in age too much, the likelihood of your child having Down syndrome goes up significantly as well. And Down syndrome can make you almost unlivable as a single person. Like you might need assistance for the rest of your life.
I actually disagree on Down syndrome being this.
That's fine if you disagree, but you're wrong.
Yeah.
Depending on how severe your Down syndrome is, you can absolutely be unable to live the rest of your life alone. Even with autism, I don't want to say advanced, but there are some like levels of autism where if you are too far down, you might need a caretaker for the remainder of your life. Like you can never live separately. So I mean,
Maybe not separately, but I have seen cases where Down syndrome kids or teenagers having jobs.
maybe, but
Like Starbucks totally
What?
allows them.
Was
to
it
have
you?
their-
Upstairs. No.
sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it would depend a lot. Like, not everybody is going to be able to do that if they've got, like, Down syndrome.
Yeah, maybe not everybody, but I'm trying to say that there's some cases where Down syndrome kids.
Okay, and there are some cases where kids born of incest will be fine as well.
Well, yeah, I don't. So, you're thinking of incest has like a mental disorder? You know what you're saying?
It depends. Do you know how you get fucked up from incest? Do you know why incest is bad?
Yeah, because our morality thing is wrong.
No. Why is it like bad to have incest kids?
The kids?
Yeah, like why is it bad genetically to have incestual children?
Genetically, because we have these deformities that cause health problems.
Yeah, but where do the deformities come from? Just because it's incest?
I can't really argue about that.
Okay, so
I don't know.
I don't understand it that well either, Mr. Moon. You might know more, but I think that the problem is that when you have sex with somebody that has a very similar genetic makeup to you, you have a higher chance that certain bad recessive traits can get passed on, and you also don't have as many like duplicate genes that could be healthy to like correct those disorders, right?
It's lack of diversity.
But more specifically, that's what the lack of diversity specifically is. I think is that you've got a higher chance of winding up with two copies of like a bad gene. This is why men I think are more often colorblind than women because you're less likely to carry like colorblindness. I think is an error in the X chromosome.
The X, yeah. Women have two.
And since women carry two X chromosomes, they're more likely to have a correct copy. I'm pretty sure.
That's correct.
But yeah. So basically, okay. So do I. So, but basically, all incest is like it gives you a higher chance of having like some of these genetic diseases. It's not a guarantee. Just because you have an incest baby doesn't mean it's going to be a mutant. And first generation incest isn't even really that bad. Like a first generation incest child's probably going to be just fine. It's when you get many generations into it that the lack of genetic diversity will cause a massive overrepresentation of some of these genetic diseases. So, I'm bringing this up because it seems like you think that, like, if a brother and sister have a child, it's magically going to be like totally deformed and fucked.
No,
Chances are it's going to be like totally normal. It's going to be just fine.
Yeah, but there's actually been a study. I think I can actually find it pretty easy, where 40%. This study that 40% were actually deformed children.
40%? Not of first generation children. No, absolutely not. You can't find that study because it doesn't exist. I know it doesn't. You can try and find it if you want, but I know that's not true. It might be like a few percentage points higher, but not 40%. No way. There were royal families that practiced incestual relationships, weren't there? I don't remember who it was. I don't think it was ever England. And I'm not talking Game of Thrones.
Dank memes Kayleys in 3, 2, 1. Dank memes Kayleys.
But all of this...
have 3 kids and one was fucked up?
Fuck off.
Sounds like 40... Sorry.
Were most royal families incestuous? The Germans? Maybe it was the Germans? Yeah, I don't remember. But yeah, so anyway, I mean, without getting into like who specifically was, although I mean we could look it up and find it pretty easily. All European royal families practice incest. Yeah, sure. I know it was common with some royal families. I didn't know if it was all of them or not. So like. We don't really tell normal people, like non-incestuous people, we don't tell them not to have kids just because they might have a genetic disease. So it seems kind of weird to do it to incestual people. So moving on from that, like what is your, besides, because I mean this also doesn't even account for like what about gay incestual relationships or incestual relationships where one person is sterile or you practice using birth control, the lady's on the pill or something. Like, what's your argument against these people?
Those people?
Yeah.
The royal family?
No. Like, just say like say 2 gay brothers.
Oh, those. Okay. Well, morality. We're gonna think it's wrong anyways. Because
well, no. But you need a reason why it's wrong.
Because we involve thinking that incest is wrong.
Okay.
So it's
do you know what a circular argument is?
No.
Okay, you said something is wrong, and I asked you why it's wrong, and you said it's wrong because it's wrong. It's tautological or circular or begging the question.
I'm not saying that it's just wrong. I'm saying that as a civilization, we had these builds up to why it became wrong.
Okay.
No, it's not easily comprehensible to why it's wrong.
You were okay with gay pride, right?
Mr. Moon,
like
don't worry.
Gay, right?
Yeah.
Mr. Moon, don't worry.
We were very against
this,
that,
okay?
and it was very morally wrong. Probably, I don't know, what, 50 to 100 years ago?
Through religion.
Okay. Yeah? That's why incest...
I'm
that's
talking
what
to
you've
you
been saying
in-game.
about incest, though, right?
You can't hear me
through
right
religion.
now. I'm talking to you in-game. You can't hear me.
No, I'm saying that our morality on that came from religion.
So why was gay, like being gay, wrong?
Because in the Bible, people mistaking gay as wrong.
They mistook it? Like, mistaken it?
Wait, there were places in the Bible that made it so that gay was actually wrong. Like, it's not just a mistake. Like, that's in the Bible, that no man shall lie with another man.
There's actually articles saying that it didn't say that in the original Bible.
What? You're telling me that it's not a sin for a man to lie with another man? That I can't find that in, like, Deuteronomy?
I can James Bible, like, right now and find
Well, we can just look it up. We can look Bible verses online.
I'm not talking about the Bibles that are being sold in stores. I'm talking about the original Bible.
You don't trust
they found.
Fake Bible, got it.
Wait, did they find like the uncut, like the director's cut?
Straight from Luke.
What about
okay, so your argument now is that this is the fake Bible, and there's a different version that's correct. That doesn't say a man shouldn't lie with another man, right?
Okay, so in Leviticus it says, "You shall not lie with a male as a woman." Wait, you shall not lie with a male. Oh, you shall not lie with a male as with a woman. It is an abomination. And then later it says, if a man lies with a man as with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood is upon them. Also, Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but that part added.
Sodomy is not legal as well. Sodomy is illegal in biblical law. Oral sex and anal sex. How else are gay people supposed to have sex?
Now, is that an actual law?
Yeah, sodomy. Do you know why sex exists?
Why sex exists?
Yeah, are you religious?
No.
Okay, sex is a gift given to us by God for the building of families and for the strengthening of the relationship between the man and wife. That's the only reason sex exists. So sex should only be used for procreation and for the building of a relationship between a man and
I'm
wife.
getting shot.
Shit, they came from the north. So how can gay people ever have sex in the way that...
I'm down. They're in the house, I think.
In that house?
So
I can't tell.
So why would God give them the ability to feel stimulation from their man?
Because we have the choice as people to choose between good and evil. That's what we do as people. Since Eve ate the apple. In this house, you said?
I couldn't see it, just thought.
But in the original study of the actual Bible that was discovered,
What is this actual Bible?
They didn't have that.
I don't know what like secret Bible you have. I don't know what this secret Bible is.
Is he talking about Dead Sea Scrolls or?
That's not recognized as biblical by anybody.
He's to the left.
But there's another one. To the right. How did those guys kill you from so far away?
One of them had a car.
Yeah, but even so, he was nailing shots. They were like really fucking far from you, dude. Like leading shots far.
They're getting those good shots on me.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have to go like what I don't know like what Bible fanfic or extended universe you're reading because I've never heard of these Bibles. I was raised Catholic, so I studied the Bible for 12 years.
A very long time ago, I saw on Facebook an article saying that they discovered that the Bible actually didn't have anything against homosexuality.
Do you think that articles that you read on Facebook are a good source of rational information?
Not entirely.
Then why are you quoting to somebody that went to Catholic school for 12 years an article that you might have read a long time ago on Facebook and acting like this gives you some sort of biblical authority? That seems pretty extreme to me.
Right, that is a bit extreme.
Yeah, that sounds really extreme. Like maybe a tad foolish?
Maybe. But what I'm saying, in ties of the homosexuality part, that I wouldn't really agree that homosexuality is actually wrong the same way incest is wrong.
Why?
Okay, but it was still wrong, and now it's not anymore. But this is all irrelevant. We're not using the Bible as a source for our morality. This isn't an argument. I want you to give me an argument why incest is wrong. You can't just say because of the Bible or because that's what morality says. It's a circular argument. You need to tell me why it's wrong. We can do this with any other strong moral leaning, right? Why is murder wrong? Because wasn't your thing on morality? Yeah?
Not law, right?
Yeah, morality, not law, correct?
This is where many moralities came from.
I don't care about biblical morality, though. That's not the type of morality that I am interested in.
So are you saying like a clean slate morality? A child that never been born with religion, right?
What? Do you think the only type of morality that can exist is morality that comes from the Bible?
No. This is what I'm saying. I'm saying if a baby was born with a clean slate and they grew up without any religion in their head, are you talking about that kind of morality?
I'm talking about any morality that you can justify to me.
Okay, but I'm saying that are you saying?
Okay, let me give you an example, okay? Stealing is wrong, okay? I think stealing is wrong. For me personally, I think stealing is wrong because I don't want people to steal things from me, okay? That's a personal argument I can make. Another argument is stealing is wrong because you're infringing on the rights of another person. Maybe you believe that people have certain inalienable rights that they're guaranteed, like security in their life, liberty, pursuit of happiness or whatever, right? Maybe you have possessions and you feel that you should be secure in those possessions. Other people shouldn't be able to steal them from you, right? So these are reasons why, these are actions, and here's reasons why they're morally inexcusable, wrong. So now I'm curious for incest, what is your argument besides it's wrong because it's wrong? There has to be something more, an argument to justify that.
Okay, so I did say, other than deformities, that incest is wrong because it can't pass family name.
So all sex that doesn't pass family name is wrong?
Not entirely, but I'm saying...
Then that means that's not an argument. Then we have to move on to the next argument.
Okay, hold on. If the brother was marrying the sister...
Okay, what about one-night stands? Are all forms of casual sex wrong?
If a straight male married his sister, how would that male pass his name if they had the both same last name? Because they can't pass the name.
Okay, but you don't have to have a family when you have sex.
Okay, but and then that argument, no one is responsible for the right sex with their sibling.
What?
They're not going to refuse to tie their tubes, go on birth control, or wear a condom.
No, what about two gay people that never can have children?
Well, and two gay people that are boys.
Yeah.
I was think that's wrong because maybe the other siblings can.
So if other people can't have sex, you can't have sex?
Exactly.
How does that make sense?
Because it's not fair in law. And then
what do you mean it's not fair in law? How is it not fair?
Because America is a very fair country to other people.
Okay, I don't think gay sex should be allowed at all, because if I want to have sex with a woman, we've got to go through a lot of work for birth control. She either has to get on a pill or I have to use a condom. I think it's bullshit that women or men can have sex with each other and they don't have to use birth control. That's not very fair at all. So should they not be allowed to have sex at all?
No.
Why not? What's the difference?
Are we still on the incest thing, or you're talking about like relationships?
So I'm taking your argument and I'm testing it for consistency. Your argument was that brothers can't have sex with each other because brothers and sisters can't have sex with each other because it wouldn't be fair. So I'm asking you, should all forms of fairness be outlawed? All forms of sexual fairness, like if something is not fair, should it be outlawed? And now you just told me no, so I need a distinction. But why is it okay? Why is it okay that normal gay people can have sex, but incestually they can't?
Because they're not brothers and sisters.
Okay, so because it's not incest. So, but we've gone circular again. So you need to tell me why I don't know, you made like a 15-minute video on this, and you've had all this time to think, but you're in the same pit hole that no bullshit was in. You haven't given me any arguments against incest.
Actually, I gave you our morality on it and why it's wrong.
No, you just told me that religious people think it's wrong.
We think it's wrong. It's in our head.
But that's circular.
We think gay rights was wrong.
Yeah, we thought gay rights were wrong or transgenders were wrong. That's not an argument. It's just an appeal to tradition.
Exactly. It's tradition. That's why it's wrong.
No, but appeal to tradition is that's fallacious. That's not a good thing.
It's not a good... Yeah.
You can't just say that because we did something, that makes it morally right. That's not an argument.
All right. I have a question for you. If you had a son and another son, two brothers that were gay and love each other, would you allow that?
That's not a good question.
Why isn't it a good question?
Because you're not testing me for a logical moral argument. What if I was a psychopath? What if I was a psychopath and you asked me if your son grew up and he murdered people, would you be okay with that? And I go, yeah, I love murderers. Does that make my argument good or valid or logic?
That's not a very good analogy on my...
Why is it not a good analogy? You're not testing the logic of my argument. You're not seeing if it's logically consistent. You're just asking me like a personal question.
If it was your two sons, two brothers that love each other, would you allow that relationship?
Sure, I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
Okay, so did I win my argument now because I said yes?
No.
Then why did you ask me the question?
So, what are you going to do to protect them from society?
What am I going to do? What?
What would you do to protect them from society?
I don't know. Maybe by the time they grow up, maybe society will love incestual relationships. Mr. Mooden.
You think that?
I don't know. Maybe. We love gay people now.
Yeah. But the thing is that being gay wasn't a choice. It's never been a choice. Relations were a choice, but your sexuality is not a choice. I wouldn't say incest.
Would you say is love a choice then?
Yes, but I don't think.
But being gay is not a choice.
I don't think people grow up around with their sibling thinking these kind of things. I think that's bullshit. how people think that these children have these thoughts growing up with their other sibling. That's kind of like a bullshit.
Well, clearly some people do if they fucking do it, right?
So love is a choice, correct? You agree with that?
Yeah.
But being gay isn't a choice.
Yeah, gay isn't a choice.
Okay.
Why don't gay people just choose to love people that are this different sex?
Why people don't choose what?
Why don't gay people just choose to love people that are the different gender or whatever?
Because it's not a choice.
Oh, I thought you said falling in love was a choice.
They can't help. Okay. That's different than sexuality. We're on two different fucking things here. You need to separate sexuality and who you want to be betrothed to.
Okay. So do you think that things that are morally righteous are only things that society accepts? Is that what your line of questioning was? So what would I tell if I had a kid growing up and he fell in love with a black woman 10 years ago, or not 10 years ago, but like say like 80 years ago, would you tell that person you can't love her, that's wrong? And then when they go, why is it wrong? You'd go, well, because society doesn't like it? That's a good argument?
No, I would say because that's your sister.
No. If it was like a black woman and a black woman and a white man, would you tell your son that that's wrong because society doesn't accept interracial relationships 80 years ago?
80 years ago? Okay, but there was racism in our country 80 years ago.
So you would say that it would be bad then? You'd say that you shouldn't be married to a black woman or you shouldn't love a black woman. You'd say it's bad.
No.
Why?
Okay, you're still like... Why is it that you always add these kind of different logic with like different kind of things?
Because it's an analogy to test your shit.
Yeah, but this analogy is stupid because we're talking about incest here. We're not.
How is it?
Okay, hold on.
No.
So no. Let me plug your logic, and I'll try to make this as simple as possible. Okay, you are saying that. So we'll move past the fallacious appeal to like personal opinion or whatever, right? So you're saying, would you be okay with your sons having an incestual relationship if it meant that society was going to hate them for it? So your argument seems to be that you can argue the morality of something based on society's acceptance for it, right? That would be the generalized form of your argument. Do you agree or disagree?
I agree.
Okay. So if your general argument is that if society disapproves of something, you should avoid it, then I could ask you, well, 80 years ago, society disapproved of interracial relationships. Okay? So do you think that 80 years ago, it was immoral to be in an interracial relationship? I'm plugging in your logic there. Does that make sense? So do you agree, or do you want to reformulate your argument?
Okay, so I'm going to try and imagine myself 80 years ago. If I was a person who was racist, I would probably think, why is that woman with that black man? That's probably what I would think. It was wrong for to have these kind of relationships. And then he protested that racism, who cares about skin color? Racism shouldn't matter. People should be able to get married. Different races, different sex. Right?
So if we go protest about incest, who cares about family? It'll be okay then?
No.
Okay.
It's very hard to put this in words.
It's hard because you don't have an argument. That's what's making it so difficult. The problem is that when I ask you...
Okay, can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Why do you think it's... Well, I don't think you think it's wrong, but what would you say since you have to?
Well, I don't really want to give you the answer. I can give it to you at the end if you want, but...
All right, so let's cut this short and cut to the end.
Okay. If you really want to. I'm actually not totally sold on this argument. I think there's a lot of ways to attack it, but I think that your best argument... So the problem you're having is that you're not giving arguments against incest. You're finding problems with incest that aren't endemic to incest. They're not intrinsic to incestual relationships, and you're trying to get rid of that. But the problem is, since they're not unique to incest, if I go to any other situation where it happens, you all of a sudden find yourself not liking what you've said. So, for instance, you said, what about giving birth to deformed babies? That's not intrinsic to incest. So if we go outside of incest and you're okay with it, then the problem isn't that. You say, well, what about if society pressures you the other way? Well, that's not unique to incest. There are other types of relationships that aren't accepted. We can go outside of incest and find that you're not okay with your argument there, right? So the problem is you're not ever giving an argument against incest, okay? So if the best argument, in my opinion, that you can mount against incest is probably that, okay, so you have to build this up from relationships with unbalanced power dynamics are very bad. So these are relationships that we generally agree are bad. Employer-employee relationships are bad because you can't truly give consent to your boss because you're pressured, right, whether you want to be or not. Teacher-student relationships are probably bad for the same reason. And parent-child relationships, especially when the child is still reliant on the parent, are bad. But possibly even throughout your entire life, those relationships could be toxic, right? So if we agree that relationships with unbalanced power dynamics are bad, from there we can try to say that any type of allowance of sexual relationships between siblings could work to normalize all incestual relationships, so we should probably have none of them. Now, in my opinion, that's a pretty shaky argument because you're pretty much saying at that point, because of the potential for abuse, all of this thing should be illegal, right? You use this rationalization to argue against drugs and whatnot. But if you really wanted to argue against incestual relationships, that's probably the best one to go with, that you wouldn't want it to be legal in any form because you don't want to encourage it by normalizing it, because you could inadvertently encourage a lot of toxic consensual relationships. I'm sorry, incestuous relationships. Ooh. You get all that?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, part of it makes sense, but the part where you said like it's stuff that conflicts business.
Okay, I'm letting it.
That's where I lost it.
Wait, what?
Because I don't believe incest would actually conflict with business.
You don't think that incest would conflict with business?
No, they're not working with each other. They're just in a relationship with each other. So I don't really think it would conflict with business.
What if they owned a business together, though?
Then that could be, well, no, because if they own a business together, I mean, there's several people that own a business together. You know, just because they're related doesn't mean it's going to.
I didn't say any. I'm just kidding. I didn't say anything about business. I don't know where you're getting the business thing from.
Well, no, but you said with teacher and the student that there's always problems with that, right?
Do you know why?
Because it conflicts with the business.
What do you mean by conflicts with the business?
It causes problems.
What kind of problems?
The teacher can't work professionally.
Why can't the teacher work professionally?
When they get heartbroken because fuckboy.
Wait, how old are you again? I'm just curious.
I'm 21.
Okay.
Do you understand where I'm going?
What do you say, Mr. Moon?
Just explain the power dynamics.
No, I'm good.
Basically, it's power dynamics.
No.
Here you go.
Okay, did we have any other parts that we wanted to visit here? I think.
Do you want to go over the pay gap thing?
Over the pay gap thing?
Yeah.
Oh, between men and women?
I think we're.
Yeah, no, sure. Yeah, why not, dude? Hit him up. What do you think about it? Go ahead.
Well, when you think about it, I don't think there's a pay gap between women and men. I think that's an experience. That's
right.
About experience. It doesn't really matter if a woman makes less than a man because maybe her experience is less.
Well, why are all women's experience less than men? Isn't that kind of the question with the pay gap?
Because they haven't worked there as long.
Why haven't women worked as long as men?
Just because
they have kids, Steven.
No.
Just because the man got promoted.
So why are men getting promoted more than women?
Because their work performance was better.
Why are men's work performance better than women?
Because he actually took his job seriously.
So no women take their job seriously?
I'm not saying all men all men are better than women. I'm saying
You're saying that most men are better than most women.
no.
Yes.
No, that's not what I'm fucking saying. I'm saying
You said that men get paid more because they
you're
take
trying
their
to
jobs.
manipulate-
I'm
you're
not.
trying to
I'm
manipulate what I said.
restating exactly what you said. Wait, tell me what part of this you
No.
disagree with. Did you not say that men take their job more seriously than women?
No, I'm saying the man might take his job.
Okay,
more
but you're
seriously
trying to
than the
explain
woman.
why a pay gap
Um,
exists, and you're saying it exists because men take their job more seriously. So I'm asking why they do
No,
more than women.
There's no pay gap because of sex. There's no pay gap because of sex. That is an illusion that you feminists make up in your head.
Can you restate your argument, please?
Wait, so what do you think? Why do more men take their job seriously versus women?
Okay, but that's not what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. What are you saying? Sorry.
All right, I'm gonna go on the other side. Let's say the woman get promoted because the man didn't take his job seriously enough. He didn't have good.
Wait, the only way a woman can get promoted is if a man doesn't take a job seriously enough? What if she took the job?
I'm saying the work performance. That's what they look at. Is the work performance.
Okay.
Promotions come from your work performance. They want to hire the best in that promotion.
Okay.
The pay gap is in the promotion.
Okay, but why do men get promoted more than women?
Maybe because they have better work experience.
Why do more men have better work experience than women?
Because they take their job more seriously.
Why do more
perform
men
better
take
in
their job more seriously than women do?
Because maybe the woman needs to take their job seriously instead of complaining.
Why
that
don't
they're
women
not
take their
getting
job
promoted.
seriously versus men?
Okay, so are you saying in statistics that men are getting promoted more than women?
Sure, they must be, right? Because they get paid more.
So you're saying just because a company promotes the man instead of the woman, that's problematic?
I'm not saying it's problematic. I'm asking why it happens.
Then why does
Destiny,
why does
you
this
were right
argument
about the
exist
power
then?
dynamic argument.
Hold on 1 second.
Also,
Let's
you
say-
should tell this kid
let's
to
say this,
sterilize himself based on his own
man and a female worked at McDonald's, made $7.50 hourly.
Okay.
No one's gonna get paid more then.
Okay, but what I'm asking, you seem to agree that more men take their job more seriously than most women, right? Do you agree with that? Wait, you
no.
don't agree with that?
I'd say that they might take their job more seriously.
What does that mean? You're trying to make a non-statement.
No, I'm saying that there's really no statistics saying that men are actually being promoted because they're male.
I'm not saying they're being promoted because they're male. You're saying they're being promoted because they take their job more seriously, correct?
Performance.
Yes. So why is men's performance better than women's performance?
I don't really think there's more men that are being promoted more than women.
So then why does the pay gap exist?
So the pay gap doesn't exist. That's what I'm trying to say.
Then why do
Destiny,
what do you
woman-
wait? Men earn more
made
than
up.
women. Wait, so all the stats are just made up? The fact that men earn more money than women?
Men make more than women because statistically male own more business than women.
Oh, okay. Then why do more men own more businesses than women?
Because that's what they invested in their
Why
life.
do more men invest in
Men-
businesses than women do?
People, okay, because they want to be a CEO of.
Why don't women want to be
other-
CEOs?
Because they probably have different interests. It's an
Why are
interest.
women's interests different than men's? Women don't like to make money?
Because everyone is different. Why-
Everyone is
wait,
different, or men are different than women?
Everyone is different completely.
Okay, if everyone is different completely, then why do you see these gaps in gender lines? Why do more men own companies than women if every individual is different?
Because that's what they wanted to do with their life. They went to college.
Why do men want to own
business.
businesses and women don't want to own businesses?
Because they thought in their brains that
Yeah, but why men
one day
versus
I-
women? What makes men choose this and women not choose this?
some women do own businesses.
But
so I
not
don't
that
really-
many. That's why more men earn more money. We've already agreed on that.
Because this is what they do. This is what they
Why?
did in their life.
Why?
Because that person specifically.
Not that person specifically. More men than women own businesses and make more money. Why?
Because that's their interest.
Why is that their interest?
It's not because majority of women want to do something else.
Why do the majority of women want to earn less money than men?
It's not that they want to learn less money. They want to do something that they actually
Why do they want to
doing.
do stuff that makes less money than men?
Because they want to do what they like doing.
And men don't want to do what they like doing?
It's their rank in the job that matters.
Why are men ranked higher than women in the job?
If I had a business and I hired a woman, I don't want her to make more money than I do because it's my business.
Okay, so why is it that most business owners are men and not women?
Because that's what men like to do.
Why do men like to earn businesses? You just said that everybody has their own decisions, but now you're telling me that men like to make
business.
Why don't women make their own business?
They can.
But why don't they? They clearly don't. That's why men make more money.
Because they're too busy protesting saying there's a pay gap.
So why do women all protest and men don't?
So I think it's really like pathetic that feminists are protesting that they're not making enough money when they can just make their own business.
So
start a business.
The reason why women are protesting about not making as much money as men is because why would they? Shouldn't they have already been making all this money in the first place instead of protesting? They should have nothing to protest about.
No, that's stupid because I don't want someone higher rank making more.
Okay, when you say I don't want somebody higher rank making or lower rank making more money than me, you're implying that most business owners are men. Why are most business owners men? Why aren't there more women business owners?
Because individually has a person, which
you keep saying individually as a person when we've decided that more men own businesses than women. So it's not individually as people.
It just so happens that
this
more
is
men
brutal.
own
Stop.
Because in their head, that's what they like doing.
So it's just by random chance that out of millions and millions and millions of samples, we end up with a wildly uneven distribution by random chance?
Yeah, because women have different jobs they go into.
Why do women go into different jobs than men?
I don't know. I don't read people's minds.
Okay. Well, this is what the pay gap is about. It's answering these questions. Why do women choose lower paying jobs? Why are men more likely to own businesses? Why do men appear to be more ambitious in the job market? Why do men negotiate higher pay? The pay gap isn't about saying that a woman will just get paid less for working the same type of work that a man does. The pay gap is about trying to explain why do women make these choices? Is it just something that women naturally do? If that's true, then that's fine. If women are more inclined to jobs like teaching or social working, that's okay. But if it's because of pressure by society or business owners or other people or some sort of systemic problem, then that's a problem that has to be rectified. That's what answering the pay gap is about. It's possible that in a perfect society, a pay gap will always exist. It's also possible that in a perfect society, the pay gap would lessen a lot because there'd be less pressures on women to go into certain types of work. That's what that question is about.
Okay, but I'm not women choosing to do what they love.
I don't know. Do you think that if a woman is a stripper, do you think all strippers choose to strip because they love stripping? Do you think that drug dealers choose to deal drugs because they love doing drugs?
Actually, they do that because they love making money. And then the funny thing is that many of the drug dealers don't even go anywhere past high school.
You think that most drug dealers... Do you think people... Wait. Do you think people that sling crack on corners, you think they do that because they love dealing drugs? They love making money?
Actually, I know a former drug dealer.
Yeah?
He did it because it's an easier job than like working very hard.
I knew 2 drug dealers, and they both told me that they wish they could have gotten conventional work, but they said that the educational opportunities available to them, and they said that the job opportunities available to them in the city that they worked were so bad that drug dealing was the better alternative. That's what they told me. They were very eloquent speakers. Sorry.
So that's what they told you?
Yeah.
So they're saying that there's more drug dealing was like the main option in that town, right?
Yeah, that was the only good option. They said that since they didn't have good adequate vocational,
did they just move?
Because moving is expensive. Not everybody can just pick up and leave cities.
Yeah, but drug dealing is a pretty easy thing to get rich from.
No, it's not. Not everybody who's a drug dealer is rich. You think the kid that you know that sells weed, he's not rich? People that are slinging dope on the street corners, those guys aren't rich.
Actually, a majority of drug dealers are.
Actually, that's not even remotely true. Most of them have fuck all for money. They might carry a decent amount of cash with them, but they don't have any assets. They don't have a retirement account. They probably live in shitty houses. They probably drive shitty cars. Like, they don't have very much money. They have enough to get by, but most people, if you see...
They get more than what they can get by.
If you're driving down the street and you see somebody selling drugs, that person is not rich. If he was rich, he wouldn't be selling drugs, and he wouldn't be any place where you could ever see him.
So, what do you think? How much money does a drug dealer make a month? What do you think?
I don't know, enough to get by. Probably more than he'd make working at a McDonald's.
Well, give me a number.
Jesus, if I had to guess, I don't know, maybe. Oh fuck! It would depend on the city you'd live in and where you live in the city. So anywhere from like 1,000 to 2,000 a month, I guess, for like a front level dude, maybe. I'm not sure. I don't know.
All right, so 2,000 actually a lot of money to many people.
24,000 a year is a lot of money to somebody maybe with a kid.
Do you know how much money I make? For
I don't.
working $10 an hour.
How much money do you make?
I make about $1,200.
You make how much?
$1,200 a month. I'm getting by. If I had extra, like an extra more money like they did, I would probably be ecstatic to be a drug dealer because they're making money very, very easily. That's very easy income.
Do you think being a drug dealer, can you get arrested at your job, or do you get shot or violence threatened at you at your job?
No. And I don't think that really happens in drug dealing because it's very discreet.
You don't think so when you hear about a shooting on the street, you think that's usually between like maybe like a Target and a Costco employee run into each other and they get in a shootout over like who sells like better pants or who's got the better pharmacy section?
No, that's more like a gang member.
A gang member? So people that are involved maybe in the sale of illicit.
Or it can just be because I'm actually from Jackson, Michigan.
Oh.
And I lived in an apartment where they had like a shooting there like every month, and it's like argument with a friend or a friend cheated with their girlfriend, like stuff like that. They like
you had a shooting every month there because somebody cheated on their girlfriend.
Okay. I'm gonna tell you a story that you can actually look up.
This is just one story though.
No, there's many stories.
Okay, well, I know 5 friends that were all in drug dealing, and all of them got shot while drug dealing. 5 friends. So.
Okay. Well, I guess we're done here.
Okay.
All right. Nice talking to you.
Yeah, I enjoyed the conversation, buddy.
All right, bye-bye.
Later, bitch.
Thanks God I make more than 24K
You think he's
in
against
California.
incest because his parents had
I'm
sex and he came out like that, or?
You mean his parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, or great-great-great?
Yeah.
Do you think if Socrates could come alive and, like, witness my conversations, do you think he would actually say that the Socratic method is a really bad way of arriving at any conclusion?
If black women just get married and start a business, all the
I just didn't know what to say when he brought up the fake Bible.
Or after I gave my long thing on, like, why incest is bad, he's like, well, what about brothers and sisters if they're not in a business together? Holy shit.
Fake news, fake Bible, fake pay gap.
The real Bible. Did you hear about the real?
Yeah, I heard about it. You were trying real hard to get him on the girl shit. I don't remember what he was actually like saying.
The peg?
Yeah.
Whew, we ran around in circles.
Yeah.
The cops killed Trayvon Martin.
Tags,
Oh yeah,
humiliation,
that was good.
Incest,
I had to look it up
males,
because I thought like I
sadism,
might be a retard, so I looked and
males
yeah, no,
only.
it was my boy George Zimmerman.
Our boy. Can't simmer the Zimmer. That guy must be like PewDiePie's spirit animal. I'm so worried I'm going to accidentally say it, I just get so frustrated sometimes.
He's crying.
I just
hope you're happy.
scream it.
I know I am.
I can't even believe that. I don't know.
The reason
might
why
be against incest now.
The reason why I did this was because this guy he made a whole video. Yeah, he's only got 28 subs. I don't know. I was just curious. I knew this was gonna be dumb. BLM
No,
is
I had fun.
his video is BLM is violent and racist. Watch out, Destiny fans.
I hope it was a troll,
So today,
but I don't think it was.
No.
Between Destiny and
I will. Oh, he made a video for today. I will be debating with Destiny today, folks. We'll settle this once and for all between him and I.
Does anybody know where I can go purchase the new Bible?
It's not translated yet to English. you fucking
God's
shitty.
secret edition.